Today, you're going to improve your fluency in English by reading and listening to English at the same time. We're going to read a news article together, and this is the best method that you can use to become fluent fast. Welcome back to JForrest English. I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started.
First, I'll read the headline. The aircraft of the future takes flight. So here we have an aircraft. Most likely you refer to this as a plane. An aircraft is more of the category of vehicles that fly. So it includes planes and helicopters. So I wrote that definition for you. Remember, an aircraft is just a vehicle that can fly, so a plane or a helicopter. Now, someone might ask you, what type of plane did you fly on? They could also say, what type of aircraft did you fly on? That's fine because a plane is a type of aircraft. And then to answer, you would say the name of the plane. So I had to Google this because I don't know any names of planes or aircrafts, but my husband is always very interested in the type of plane we fly on. And he seems to know the types of planes. So he would probably say it was a Boeing 767, for example. Now, the aircraft of the future takes flight. You may be more familiar with the expression to take off. That's when the plane leaves the ground and begins to fly, to take off. You can also say take flight to mean the same thing, but honestly, take flight is less common. The more common option is take off. So I wrote that definition, and again, I recommend you use take off. For example, what time does your flight take off? You can also say, what time do you take off? Because you are also leaving the ground. But notice here, it is common to use flight. And in that sense, it would sound odd to say, what time does your flight take flight, even though grammatically correct. So it is more common to use off. This headline just chose to use take flight. So the aircraft of the future, the type of plane of the future, takes flight, takes off. Now, don't worry about writing down these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can look in the description for the link to download it. Now, let's continue and talk about this aircraft of the future. I think you can imagine what type of aircraft we're talking about based on this image here. In the French Alps last summer, a plane set 7 new world records. So notice here, you set a record, and that's just when you accomplish or achieve a record. We set a new record. Now, you're probably familiar with to set a target or to set a goal. When you set a goal, you identify or establish that goal or that target. For example, I set a goal to be fluent in 3 months, and that's a very ambitious goal to set. Now, this doesn't mean you achieved it. This simply means you identified it. So 3 months from today, it's your goal to be fluent. And of course, you need to take the steps necessary to achieve that goal. But in this case, when the plane set a record, it does mean it accomplished that record. It achieved that record. So notice the slight difference in the use of set a record. It accomplished it. But when you set a goal, you identify or establish it, but you haven't accomplished it at this point. So in the French Alps last summer, a plane set 7 new world records. The 2-seater aircraft. Notice this, the 2-seater. This is functioning as an adjective, and it's describing the size of the airplane. So on this airplane, this aircraft, there are only 2 seats. 2 seats. It's extremely small. So that's a 2-seater aircraft. Whereas a Boeing 767, that might be a 200-seater. 200 people can fit on the airplane, can sit on the airplane. So I don't know if that's true. It could be a 400 seater, I'm not sure. So 200 seater. That just describes how many seats are available on that airplane. You don't need to use this just with planes. You could use this with a meeting room, a movie theater, any type of theater, a conference room where there are specific seats, and then you can describe how many seats as the number, and then notice you put seater. So this is a two-seater aircraft. So said it another way, you can say the aircraft seats two people, or there are two seats on the aircraft. That's the two-seater aircraft, climbed more than 20,000 feet in under 2 minutes. Now, this must be impressive because it set 7 new world records. So it means it was the first to achieve this. And it reached speeds of 142 miles per hour.
Before we move on, I'd love to tell you about LingQ, my personal favorite way to learn a language. LingQ is a language app that lets you learn from content you love. The reason why I use LingQ to learn languages, and why I recommend you do too, is because of the app's focus on input. On LingQ, you have access to thousands of hours of content that includes both audio and text, so you can both read and listen to English. Plus, you can import content directly from YouTube, Netflix, blogs, the news, and much more. For example, you know those news articles that I like to share in my videos? You can easily import them into LingQ and create your own interactive lessons. You'll be able to easily look up words and phrases, track your statistics, and level up your English ability. I first started using LingQ because the platform was co-founded by Steve Kaufman. He's a polyglot who speaks 20 languages. His method focuses on input, lots of reading and lots of listening. And that's why LingQ, the app Steve co-founded, is so effective. It makes reading and listening to content in my target language easier and more enjoyable. LingQ is available on both desktop and mobile, so you can practice your English anytime, anywhere. And LingQ is giving all JForrest English viewers a 35% discount off a 1-year premium plan if you upgrade using my coupon code. You'll also have access to my special LingQ shelf, which includes my favorite English articles and TV shows. I highly recommend LingQ because I know it will help you improve your English quickly, and you'll have a lot of fun in the process. So use the link in the description to sign up now. Let's continue with our lesson.
It flew nonstop for 300 miles. Okay, so flew, of course, this is the irregular past simple of fly. The verb conjugations are fly, flew, flown. I frequently fly for work. That is in the present simple because we have our adverb of frequency, so it's a routine action. I frequently fly for work. Yesterday, I flew to New York. So this is a past simple, and this is our past simple verb, flew. And flown, this is our participle. We can use this in the present perfect, for example. I've flown 3 times this month. So it's an unfinished time reference, the present perfect. I've flown 3 times this month. Coming back to our sentence, this is the aircraft, it flew nonstop for 300 miles. Nonstop, this is an adverb. It describes how it flew. And nonstop, it means continuously, without stopping. This is a common adverb, and we frequently use it in different verb tenses, specifically the past simple. I worked nonstop all week. So if you said this, it means your week is complete because you're saying this in the past simple. I've been working nonstop all week. In the present perfect continuous because your week is still in progress. So again, this means continuously without stopping. Oh, I've been working nonstop all week. Perhaps these numbers don't sound very impressive, but consider that the aircraft burned no fuel and emitted 0 emissions. Notice here the verb is to emit. Now, this simply means produce, but we use it very specifically. We use it when you produce a sound, a smell, or a gas. For example, the tower emitted a buzzing sound. So again, the tower produced a buzzing sound, but because it's a sound, we can use the verb emit. The tower emitted a buzzing sound. So here, consider that the aircraft burned no fuel and emitted 0 emissions. Emissions can be considered a type of gas, and that's why we can use emit. Let's continue. Instead, the plane, now remember this is the same as aircraft, plane, aircraft. Instead, the plane used an all-electric motor powered by a single battery. But remember, this is only a 2-seater plane, a very small plane, a very small aircraft. Called the E-Genius and built by engineers at the University of Stuttgart, the most remarkable thing about this all-electric plane is the cost of flying it. Let's talk about remarkable. I love this adjective. It means unusual or special, and therefore surprising and worth mentioning. So to get someone's attention, you could say, the most remarkable thing happened to me today. If someone said that to me, I would be very curious. What happened? What is this remarkable thing that happened? But you have to make sure that you say something remarkable. So remember, it has to be somewhat unusual or special, something that doesn't happen every day. So what remarkable thing happened to me today? Maybe I saw a triple rainbow. So I looked in the sky and there's not one, there's not two, but there's 3 rainbows visible in the sky. I think that's pretty remarkable. I don't think I've ever seen a triple rainbow. Have you seen a triple rainbow? Put that in the comments. Triple rainbow. Let me know if you think that's remarkable. So if you do, this was just my example. I thought of it right now. I didn't think of it in advance. If you think seeing a triple rainbow would be remarkable, put that in the comments. That's remarkable. Put in the comments, wow, that's remarkable, if you think that's remarkable, and feel free to share your own remarkable thing that happened to you today as well. Wow, that's remarkable. Put it in the comments. So here, the most remarkable thing about this all-electric airplane is the cost of flying it. Okay, so notice how they say all electric. This isn't necessary. You could just say about this electric airplane, because if you don't specify anything else, I would assume it is entirely electric. Otherwise, we have a word. If something is only partly electric, we call that a hybrid. So a hybrid airplane is an airplane that would use some battery power and some gas power. So if you just say electric, you don't actually have to specify all electric. It's implied. About this all electric airplane is the cost of flying it. So let's see how much this plane costs. During a 62-mile stretch of its historic flight, the plane used about 25 kilowatts of electricity for a total energy cost of just over $3. $3 for 62 miles. I would say that's pretty remarkable. What about you? Would you say, wow, that's remarkable? $3 to fly a plane 62 miles? That is pretty remarkable. Wow, that's remarkable. Now notice how I've been saying $3 to fly the plane 62 miles, but here it's 62 mile and there's no S. That's because right here, this is functioning as an adjective. During a 62-mile stretch, a stretch is simply the flight. So from start to finish, you could say that's the stretch of the flight. And that start to finish is 62 miles. But as an adjective, we don't add plurals or singulars to adjectives. So it's just 62 mile. But if you used it as a time reference, the plane flew, because remember, this is the past simple of fly. The plane flew for 62 miles. So here, this is just a time reference. So we need to add the S to make it plural because we have more than one. 1 mile, 62 miles. And it only cost $3. That's remarkable. Now, this is according to its pilot. So the pilot of the aircraft, the plane, Klaus Ullmann. In all, the E-Genius, remember, this is the name of the aircraft, the plane, the electric plane. The E-Genius consumed just a fifth of the energy of a typical fuel-powered two-seater airplane. So here, again, they're using the two-seater because they're comparing the electric plane to a fuel-powered plane. But to make the comparison fair, both planes are only 2 seats. So we have a 2-seater electric and a 2-seater gas-powered plane. And the electric plane, this E-Genius, just consumed just a fifth. So a fifth, this is 1/5. The A represents 1. So as a ratio, you would see it like this. 1/5, a fifth. 1/5 of the energy. This plane, the E-Genius, the electric airplane, the 2-seater electric airplane, this plane is an emblem of things to come. An emblem of things to come. Emblem just means a representative of. So this plane represents the future. Things to come, well, that's in the future. So this plane, the electric plane, represents the future. This plane is an emblem of things to come. In 20 years, you will most likely be able to buy a ticket for a flight on an electric airplane capable of commuting 100 passengers. So remember, this would be a 100-seater, a 100-seater aircraft or plane. 100-seater. 100 passengers. But this is in 20 years, and 100 passengers, that's quite small for a plane, to be honest. Today's batteries allow us, with the most advanced car or the most advanced plane, a range of about 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers, that's not very far for a plane to travel. It's quite far for a car, but for a plane, that's not very far, explained Ullmann. In 5 years, we will have double capacity. Okay, so in 5 years, they're estimating 800 kilometers. In 10 years, some scientists speak about 10 times more capacity. So 4,000 kilometers. Now we're talking about more perhaps international trips to go 4,000 kilometers. But that is in 10 years. So notice in 10 years, in 5 years. So in and then number and then years. You can say in 2 years, I'll move abroad. Notice the future simple to move abroad. When you move abroad, it means you move to another country. That would be abroad. I'll move abroad. In 2 years. Now, you can also put the time reference at the end of the sentence. I'll move abroad in 10 years. The verb tense doesn't change. I'll move abroad in 10 years. And remember, this number is flexible. Now, if it's only one, you need the singular. In 1 year. In 1 year. In 2 years, I'll move abroad. I'll move abroad in 1 year. In 5 years, we'll have double capacity. In 10 years, some scientists speak about 10 times more capacity. Technological advances in electric-powered flight today will not only make the act of flying cheaper for you. So that's something to look forward to. In 5, 10, 20 years, electric-powered flight will be cheaper. So that is definitely something to look forward to. Crucially, they also promise to revolutionize how the aeronautics industry impacts the global environment. So here, the aeronautics industry, aeronautics represents aircrafts and other objects that fly, including spaceships, for example. So aircrafts, planes, helicopters, remember, most commonly. Now, the global environment, this is because airplanes, a type of aircraft, remember, airplanes release around 500 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year, representing a significant contribution to global warming. So here, notice the S is on tons. The S is not on million. 500 million tons. I often hear students add the S to millions and tons, but 500 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. Now, you could also use that verb we talked about before, which was emit. Airplanes emit around 500 million tons. Release, produce, emit. Remember, emit specifically because we're talking about a gas. Electric flight replaces petrochemical consumption with cleaner battery-powered electricity. Now, petrochemical, I'm going to assume this means gas or the fuel that planes use now. And that's obviously the opposite of battery-powered, which uses electricity. So petrochemical, that is not a term I'm familiar with, but we'll just say fuel-powered or gas-powered flight with cleaner battery-powered electricity. So that's the end of our article, and we have something to look forward to in the future. Cheaper flights, and they'll be better for the environment as well. Once electric flights take flight. So now what I'll do is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. The aircraft of the future takes flight. In the French Alps last summer, a plane set 7 new world records. The 2-seater aircraft climbed more than 20,000 feet in under 2 minutes and reached speeds of 142 miles per hour. It flew nonstop for 300 miles. Perhaps these numbers don't sound very impressive, but consider that the aircraft burned no fuel and emitted 0 emissions. Instead, the plane used an all-electric motor powered by a single battery. Called the E-Genius and built by engineers at the University of Stuttgart, the most remarkable thing about this all-electric airplane is the cost of flying it. During a 62-mile stretch of its historic flight, the plane used about 25 kilowatts of electricity for a total energy cost of just over $3, according to its pilot, Klaus Ullmann. In all, the E-Genius consumed just a fifth of the energy of a typical fuel-powered 2-seater airplane. This plane is an emblem of things to come. In 20 years, you will most likely be able to buy a ticket for a flight on an electric airplane capable of commuting 100 passengers. Today's batteries allow us, with the most advanced car or the most advanced plane, a range of about 400 kilometers, explained Ullman. In 5 years, we will have double capacity. In 10 years, some scientists speak about 10 times more capacity. Technological advances in electric-powered flight today will not only make the act of flying cheaper for you. Crucially, they also promise to revolutionize how the aeronautics industry impacts the global environment. Airplanes release around 500 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year, representing a significant contribution to global warming. Electric flight replaces petrochemical consumption with cleaner, battery-powered electricity.
If you enjoyed this lesson and you want me to make more lessons just like this, then put remarkable in the comments. Put remarkable in the comments. And remember, LingQ is giving you an amazing 35% discount off a premium 1-year plan. I know you'll love using LingQ because it will help you take your fluency to the next level. You can click here to sign up now, or you can look in the description for the link.